Welcome to this edition of ONME Sunday Mornings. My name is Julia Dudley Najib. I am your host, and I'm also here with Lennice Najib, your co-host. Today we are at a special screening and also a red carpet event hosted by McCoy Entertainment. This is an event where they really help kids to feel unique, feel special.
Yes. Well, I'm looking at all the wonderful kids and how they dress and relate to the red carpet right here and actually be a part of the red carpet experience. So it looks very exciting.
We have a lot of special guests here that will be performing at the red carpet event for the McCoy Entertainment red carpet. This is something that I think all kids should feel special, and also anyone who walks that red carpet. And today we're going to be talking about image. As we know that Lupita Nyong'o, who was just the Academy Award-winning actress from 12 Years a Slave, just spoke out. We're going to be watching that shortly. And I guess we'll say more. Why don't we watch that real quick, and that way you're able to be in tune with what we're talking about. And it's her statement in regards to what she had to deal with as she was growing up, her skin tone, and how that affected her. And let's take a look at that.
I received a letter from a girl, and I'd like to share just a small part of it with you. Dear Lupita, it reads, I think you're really lucky to be this black, but yet this successful in Hollywood overnight. I was just about to buy Dentsure's Whitenicious cream to lighten my skin when you appeared on the world map and saved me. My heart bled a little when I read those words. I could never have guessed that my first job out of school would be so powerful in and of itself, and that it would propel me to be such an image of hope in the same way that the women of the color purple were to me. I remember a time when I too felt unbeautiful. I put on the TV and only saw pale skin. I got teased and taunted about my night-shaded skin. And my one prayer to God, the miracle worker, was that I would wake up lighter skinned. The morning would come and I would be so excited about seeing my new skin that I would refuse to look down at myself until I was in front of a mirror because I wanted to see my fair face first. And every day I experienced the same disappointment of being just as dark as I had been the day before. I tried to negotiate with God. I told him I would stop stealing sugar cubes at night if he gave me what I wanted. I would listen to my mother's every word, sitting right there, and never lose my school sweater again if he just made me a little lighter. But I guess God was unimpressed with my bargaining chips because he never listened. And when I was a teenager, my self-hate grew worse. As you can imagine, happens with adolescence. My mother reminded me often that she thought I was beautiful. But that was no consolation. She's my mother. Of course she's supposed to think I'm beautiful. And then Alec Weck came on the international scene. A celebrated model. She was dark as night. She was on all the runways and in every magazine, and everyone was talking about how beautiful she was. Even Oprah called her beautiful. And that made it a fact. I couldn't believe that people were embracing a woman who looked so much like me as beautiful. My complexion had always been an obstacle to overcome, and all of a sudden, Oprah was telling me it wasn't. It was perplexing, and I wanted to reject it because I had begun to enjoy the seduction of inadequacy. But a flower couldn't help but bloom inside me. When I saw Alec, I inadvertently saw a reflection of myself that I could not deny. Now, I had a spring in my step because I felt more seen, more appreciated by the faraway gatekeepers of beauty. But around me, the preference for light skin prevailed. To the beholders that I thought mattered, I was still unbeautiful. And my mother again would say to me, "You can't eat beauty. It doesn't feed you." And these words played and bothered me. I didn't really understand them until finally I realized that beauty was not a thing that I could acquire or consume. It was something that I just had to be. And what my mother meant when she said, "You can't eat beauty," was that you can't rely on how you look to sustain you. What actually sustains us, what is fundamentally beautiful, is compassion for yourself and for those around you. That kind of beauty, excuse me, that kind of beauty inflames the heart and enchants the soul. It is what got Patsy in so much trouble with her master, but it is also what has kept her story alive to this day. We remember the beauty of her spirit, even after the beauty of her body has faded away. And so, I hope that my presence on your screens and in magazines may lead you, young girl, on a similar journey, that you will feel the validation of your external beauty, but also get to the deeper business of being beautiful inside. That, there is no shade in that beauty. Thank you.
And we're back. And that was a statement by Lupita Nyong'o, born in Mexico City, and also dual citizenship with Kenyan, because her parents were Kenyan and also from Mexico. Interesting thing about her statement, talking about skin tone and how that affected her. And I know that my skin tone would be considered also dark skin, and growing up with that same type of image where often people are looking at you how you don't assimilate into society. You don't assimilate into the American society, which says lighter is better. What are your comments?
Well, I remember when I was in elementary school, a lot of the boys always was attracted to the more light-skinned girl, the long hair and everything, and the dark-skinned girl was less attractive. We wasn't looking at that as a high prize, and I am guilty of that myself, being experienced in that. And I never knew what that was from, how that was from, but I can, in the other side, relate to what Lupita was saying.
And Lupita is 31 years old. She graduated from, in her master's, I know she went to Yale School of Drama, and she got her BA in Film and Theater Arts in Hampshire College. This is an educated woman. And people think, well, it seems like she should be able to get past that, being an educated woman, being able to know that those comments aren't warranted, they're not real. But it affects you. It affected me when I was growing up, and still affects me today. I mean, not so much today, but we still have so many different forms of beauty. How do we get our young men and I'll say everyone, American society, to begin to see that all shades are beautiful, especially when we're looking at the American dynamic?
Well, way back in the 60s, they was always saying, black is beautiful. They kept saying black is beautiful, even when Muhammad Ali was pushing that out, black is beautiful. Also, James Brown was pushing black is beautiful. So we have to look at the dark-skinned woman as being beautiful and putting them on a pedestal and showing and in teaching as a youngster or as a young child, black is very beautiful. So in the magazines, in all cultural effect, we have to push that out there.
We really do. And talking about this event where it's a red carpet and image means everything, everyone is beautiful that's walking down the red carpet, from young to older, not old, but older and young at heart. We will shortly after the break have Izzy Malik, who is a rising star. She's toured with Disney, and we're going to talk to her about image and some of the challenges she has gone through as she has been in this industry, worked in this industry, and she's from Pakistan. So talk about image and also talk about having to deal with the cultural differences. That's got to be a challenge.
Yes, that's very a challenge. We are dealing with the cultural differences right now as we speak. And by the way, you beautiful being black and everything, so I want to make sure I compliment you as well. But we are changing the culture, and what Lupita is saying make a huge impact on a lot of black women out there. And I saw that on Good Morning America, and I think that was a well statement.
So after the break, we'll be back with Izzy Malik, who will talk about her music and the inspiration behind it. Stay tuned. You are watching ONME Sunday Mornings.
Very exciting news. AMP TV has now partnered with the California Advocate newspaper and Valley Black Talk Radio to bring you On Me. All in one media, one place, one price. Do business with us, you won't regret it. Hey, it's on me.
He'll take us out of this world, rise at his command. Get up, wait for us in eternity, with a mansion in his house.
Welcome back to ONME Sunday Mornings. I am here with Izzy Malik, who has toured everywhere and also has a new album, I should say, coming out. It's on iTunes. She's going to tell us more about that. And why don't we talk about that first? We've been speaking about young girls and image, but let's talk a little bit about this album, what it means to you and the inspiration behind it.
Well, one of the songs on the album is called Malala, and I wrote that for Malala Yousafzai, who was shot by the Taliban for wanting an education, and that's just a cause very important to my heart. I think education is really important, and everyone should have their basic right to an education. The other songs are just teen pop love songs, I guess, just fun stuff everyone can relate to, stuff you can listen to at a party or something.
Rated PG at least, right?
Yes, definitely.
So they can dance and they can enjoy, and then the words have the inspiration behind it.
Yes.
Tell us more about your background, who you are.
Well, my parents were from Pakistan. I grew up in America, but I'm pretty bicultural. I speak the language, Urdu, and I'm still very in touch with my cultural roots there, but I'm definitely a born and raised American.
Tell us about any cultural differences that you had to deal with, related from image to how people think of you and how people have stereotypes. What could you say to that?
I think that there's good and bad people in every culture, and people just need to realize that. I mean, I've dealt with a lot of stereotypes in my life. When I was in high school, some kids would bully other Pakistani kids for being just from that part of the world, and the thing is, we're just as American as anybody else. I mean, I've lived here since I was 3, to be honest, and honestly, I just feel it would be better if they understood more about the culture, because the majority of Pakistanis live in fear of the Taliban as well. It's not that the Taliban is the majority.
And that's good to know, and you're educating our audience, something that we should have more, not just tolerance, but more of an understanding as we begin to learn about the different cultures. Because America is a big melting pot, wouldn't you say?
Yes, definitely.
And so we are here with Izzy Malik, and where can they find this album again, once again?
You can buy it at any gig I'm playing, and it will be up on iTunes very soon. 3 of my singles are currently up on iTunes, Just Another Boy, Need to Know, and Last First Kiss.
Well, last thing I want to ask you about this event, how do you think it's important to our youth today and the people walking down that red carpet in regards to image?
I think it's really important for just kids to be able to come out and have a good time with their friends, their families, and sometimes I feel that kids have too much pressure on them to do extremely well at everything, and they just need to unwind sometimes. I feel that's important to them.
So this is like an unwinding event, would you say?
Yes.
And you'll be performing at this event.
Yes, I will.
Izzy Malik, everyone, on ONME Sunday Mornings, talking about image. And we hope to see more of you. We hope that you are completely successful. We put our prayers out to you, and we thank you for being on ONME Sunday Mornings.
Thank you so much.
After the break, we're going to be having Michelle Williams, who's one of the participants. In fact, her daughter participated in the red carpet, and we're going to be talking to her about image on a local level. Stay tuned.
Very exciting news. AMP TV has now partnered with the California Advocate newspaper and Valley Black Talk Radio to bring you On Me, all in one media, one place, one price. Do business with us, you won't regret it. Hey, it's on me.
He'll take us out of this world, rise at his command. Get up, wait for us in eternity, with the mansions in his house.
Welcome back to ONME Sunday Mornings. We've been talking about image and the importance of being able to know that everything is beautiful. As we talked about Lupita Nyong'o, who gave that inspiring speech about what she went through. This is a 31-year-old, very educated woman who went through the challenges of skin color, having to be able to assimilate into the Hollywood culture and also the American culture. Michelle, welcome.
Thank you.
Tell us about this event and the importance of it to you and the importance of it to youth that are all culturally different backgrounds, especially African American.
I think that events like this are important because Fresno, we have a lot of unique issues here that prevent our youth from being successful, growing up into successful adults. We have a high teen pregnancy rate, we have a high poverty rate, we have a high crime rate, and so I think things like this bring out the positivity in our youth and let them know that they are important and that they're valuable. And I think also that it helps our African American youth understand that they are important and valuable too, and that they can bring positivity to their homes, to their schools, and that they are beautiful individuals.
What do you think about Lupita Nyong'o's comment? She's 31 years old, comes out telling us about what she went through as this dark-skinned black woman, having to assimilate into the culture, and how it stabbed her. It's like wounds that she had to go through a healing process.
I think for people of darker complexions, African Americans, even Mexican Americans, having dark skin in this American culture is not looked at as beautiful. I mean, it stems back from slavery time until now. We see images of African American people and other ethnic groups who have dark complexions in negative light, whether it be the news, TV shows, those kinds of things. And I think that she breaks away from that stereotypical norm, and she can represent, she can be a representative for all different ethnic groups to say, look, just because I'm different doesn't mean that I'm not beautiful. And so even though she doesn't meet the mainstream idea of or look like the mainstream idea of what beauty is, she is still beautiful nonetheless, and she has been able to break through some of the glass ceilings that African Americans have been struggling with in the film industry. So I really appreciate her sharing her struggle.
It was a real inspiring moment for me. I was watching Good Morning America as I watched a news reporter who's dark-skinned like me almost break down into tears as she's telling the story of her going through.
And I think it's because we can relate. We know what it's like, growing up with dark skin, growing up knowing that our hair texture is different, that we just look different, and that it's hard for us to blend in. And honestly, we just can't. Those of us with darker complexions, we can't blend in. We are always set apart because of our skin color and our hair texture. And so finding ideas of what beautiful is hard when we're constantly bombarded with the lighter, fair complexions, the softer, curlier hair, and so we can relate. We know what it's like growing up. I don't know about you, but I know for me as a young teenager, I struggled with image issues, I struggled with color issues, I struggled with a lot of different things, and it wasn't until I became older and learned a little bit more about my culture, a little bit more about my own self-esteem, that I began to embrace who I was and what I looked like, and so I can relate to that, so I totally get it. I totally get it.
What do you tell the young ones that are this young? What is something that you can begin to instill in their minds now, and anybody who's out there watching, the viewing audience, how do we begin to nurture that?
I think it starts at home, and I think I'm very blessed because my children have a father at home that helps validate their beauty. And so as a mother, I think that it's selfish of us to say, our daughters are beautiful, because we're supposed to say our daughters are beautiful, but when you have their fathers and other male figures in their life helping to validate that and support that, I think it makes all the difference. So I think in our homes, having people outside of the family, people, just validate your children in their worthiness, whether or not they're smart, whether they're, have good sports abilities or other characteristics, just kind of validate those things, and then let them know that they are beautiful, and understand that everybody is not going to think that they're beautiful. But I mean, if you instill that foundation from the home, and having families and parents and mothers and fathers validating their physical characteristics, I think that makes a difference. I really do.
And what do we tell our young men that are still trying to understand the American culture and look at the difference with skin tones and how that matters in beauty? What do we say to them?
Well, I think that I can only use my home from an example, because my son is extremely dark-skinned too, and his father is extremely dark-skinned. So I just, using our life experiences and sharing with them, how we felt, and then just instilling in them that they are handsome and that they are, a worthy individual. And I think it all starts from the home. It starts from having the parents tell their kids that they are worthy and that they are valuable. And I think that if you can instill that in your child from in the home, they're able to go out into the world and deal with whatever criticism comes their way. So having a good foundation, I think, is really where it starts.
And my last question, because you're so good at this. The American society, the people that are watching, the people that are not at home, the people that don't look like us, what do we tell them to help them understand maybe the cultural biases that we've gone through, have the simulations we've had to go through? What do we say to them so that they have an understanding?
I don't know if there's anything that we can say. I just think from that perspective, they have to be empathetic to our struggle. They have to be willing to listen. They have to be willing to try to see what it's like from our perspective. And maybe, anything from talking to friends to reading books to getting a better understanding of our culture, I think will help them. I don't think there's anything that we can say per se to help them understand, because I don't think anyone can truly understand what it's like. But I think people of different ethnic groups who don't have this issue just can be empathetic to where we are, you know, in our process, and try to learn the best they can from people that they are friends with, people in their family, and just be open to a dialogue about it.
That's fair enough. Very well said, Michelle. We thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
This is Julia Dudley Najib on Me Sunday Mornings. I was here with Michelle Williams, who had powerful statements. You'll get to watch a replay online. We will be right back after the short break.
He'll take us out of this world, rise at his command. Get up, wait for us in eternity, the mansions in his house.
Welcome back to On Me Sunday Mornings. My name is Julia Dudley Najib. I'm with wonderful Ken McCoy. We're at this event. We've been talking about image and the importance of people feeling good. And we're with the organizer himself. Ken, how are you?
I'm wonderful. I mean, I'm excited. It's been a whirlwind, but it's 6 years, and I'm excited that this is coming off. We have people pouring in, but it's all positive. It's all good. It's benefiting March of Dimes and Youth Ops. So I'm excited that this is just a plethora of happiness.
Tell us about how it's important to make people feel good as they're coming down that red carpet.
It's so important for people to have their own personal image before someone bestows another image that they see of them on them. You know what I mean? In other words, you have to feel good about you before others will feel good about you, and that you're not taking somebody else's influence on you that should not be there.
Lupita Nyong'o just made a statement, and she talked about, and this is a 31-year-old educated woman, has her master's from Yale University, and she talked about the challenges she went through being a darker-skinned woman and how it tore her apart. What would you say to youth that are going through that, or for even adults that are going through that, especially with this event talking about image?
Julia, I deal with image all the time. A lot of us have been through things. We all have our trials and tribulations, but the thing is in this battle is to keep our heads up and to dream your own dream. I can't dream your dream. You know what I mean? Everybody has to dream their own dream, follow their dream, and execute the things that you believe in that will keep you motivated and will enhance your personal self-esteem.
You being a celebrity photographer, you have to look at beauty all the time. So where do you pull that beauty from?
The soul. Simple. From the soul. It's not so much about the personal look, but I want to feel good about what I'm doing. So it's not only your look, because I've seen people that look beautiful with a bad attitude. I hate to say it. I know somebody at home going, well, but you understand what I'm saying? So that's what it's about for me.
So it's not about, you know how some of the magazines, they talk about doctoring up those photos. That's not something you do, or is that something that's necessary, or is that something you can explain?
Absolutely out of it. Matter of fact, there's parents that are totally concerned about the falsification of how people look in magazines, and there's a group of parents that's actually looking into a grading scale of how much that image was manipulated. So I'm concerned about that, and that's why I say no to certain photoshopping of images.
And so when we again look at this event, how do you think the parents are looking at the image of their kids walking down this red carpet, or some of them walking down the red carpet themselves?
I think for them, they're seeing it as a great day, that their child is a celebrity. I've had stories over the years that kids will never forget this. I've ran into people all over, even parents and adults, that have said that changed lives. And that's the key, is that day, you are the one.
And the final message, a word of wisdom that you can tell someone that's sitting at home, maybe they're feeling bad about themselves, maybe they had a bad day at school. What's that? What are those words of wisdom you can tell them right now?
The only thing I can say to you is believe in yourself. Change your routine so that your outcome can change. Don't expect the same results doing the same thing. Lift your head up, read a book, talk to somebody that can hype you up, but definitely take care of your mind, body, and soul.
We'd like to thank Ken McCoy, who's one of our very own producers here on ONME Sunday Mornings and ONME in general. And Ken, thank you for having this event. 6 years.
I appreciate you coming, AMPTV. It's wonderful having you here. You came, you supported, and that's what this is about. And everything, you work with young people so you understand the vision and the integrity behind this media mogulism. That's mine. Don't use it because it's not in the Webster. Media mogulism. It's mine. I'm just saying.
Ken McCoy, everyone, you have been watching ONME Sunday Mornings. We will be right back after the short break.
It's on me.
Excellent. Welcome back to ONME Sunday Mornings. My name is Julia Dudley Najib. I'm your host, along with Lennice Najib, the co-host for today. And we have been at Ken McCoy's Red Carpet 6 years in coming. This has been a powerful event because we've been talking about image. And Lupita Nyong'o had this powerful statement, and we really took that and went on a local level. Now, Lennice, you were out there on the red carpet. You got to see how the kids felt, and the image, it was important. How they look today is sometimes how they feel on the inside.
Yes, I saw some of the kids flicking their collar, strutting down the walkway in the red carpet. So I was really proud of the music as they pumped their self-esteem as I watched lift way ups and smiles, and they just had a great experience.
You've dealt with kids, and I know we both have dealt with kids in education. When you see someone's self-esteem so low, what is it that you tell them?
Well, what I tell them is be around somebody that is uplifting, upbeat. Don't be around what I call the negative sayers or the negative doers, but be around somebody that would cheer you up, make you feel good, make you feel important, and that would make the greatest difference in the world.
And we have bullying, we have issues where people cyberbully, and they always do it based on a person's look, how their image is, what they're wearing. And I think that that's the most terrible thing and can be crushing. It's even crushing to some adults that have gone through those same type of challenges. And when we look at not only this event, and every day as you go out and you walk amongst the world and you walk in the local community, we notice that image still matters. We see people with main brands. You talk about those, I remember those main brand pants, and I didn't know what they were. I didn't know they were main brand, but everybody else seemed to know what they were. How do you feel about that, that we're actually imaging ourselves off of other images or other people's labels?
Well, a lot of people look at right now the new. You was talking about name brand. They call this one as True Religion.
Yes,
they look at the True Religion jeans and they gotta have them, but they don't look at that those jeans are $300, $400, maybe $500, $600. Right. You know what I mean? That they don't have it in their budget to do. So, but they want that image of being important, that image of, oh, somebody see those true religions on me, so I want the same thing. And that's not all about what it's all about. It's about you knowing how to uplift yourself and be proud of who you are, regardless of what you wear.
I think that's the saddening part for me, is that so many people are going out there to buy these different main brand designer clothing, designer hats, and they feel that that's what makes them who they are. And that's the irony of that. And I don't know, that's never going to go away, because Hollywood is out there and they're wearing from diamonds, they're bling blinging. You got Beyonce bling blinging, you got Jay-Z bling blinging, everyone's blinging on stage. But guess what? A lot of that stuff is borrowed.
Yes, I remember when I was growing up. I mean, we have the jeans of choice, or the clothes of choice at that time was Guess jeans.
Yes.
And I don't know if y'all remember the Guess jeans.
I remember Guess, Esprit, a lot of those Jordache.
Yeah, Jordache, Calvin Klein.
I know that's dating us, but hey.
Yes. Oh well, but everybody felt somewhat important. Even right now, the Michael Jordan shoes, the $200 shoes, $225 shoes, and you talking about people taking a whole check almost, half their check or a quarter of their check just to buy some Michael Jordan shoes. So
We see there somebody was fighting on a video behind some shoes.
people fighting on a bus, people are robbing people for those shoes. It's pretty bad over shoes. You know, so the image, especially in the African American community, is really relevant, really prevalent, and it's very tough for students to have a sense of self-worth.
Right.
Because they feel, oh, I'm broke or I'm poor because I don't have that image of true religions. At my time, Guess jeans, or you got a whole Guess outfit, as one of my best friends try to get, but it's ridiculous.
And that's something we have to begin to talk about, because I know in the school district, I can only speak on a local level, or we can even say on a national level, because the video we watched was a national video where someone was fighting over some shoes, and one young man didn't have any shoes because they were fighting over these Jordans. We have to begin to look at image as a crisis, because that's why in some places they have the private schools or even the regular public schools where you're not allowed to wear that main brand or different colors. You're not allowed to wear designer clothing. You have to wear like the uniforms. Do you think that's something we need to go back to? Is people wearing uniforms to avoid anyone being bullied, to avoid anyone feeling less than, to avoid anyone being bullied because of their image or what they're wearing, the designer clothes that they don't have?
Well, I think it depends. It depends on what area, it depends on what school, it depends on what culture. With us in our culture, that from what I see, the image of the true religions is too much of a pressure, you know, where we're not focused on our education. We're not focused on what we're trying to do to uplift our character, uplift ourselves.
And is that going back to the community? I'm just wondering. Those true religion, is there any portion or proceeds from that designer brand that we know of that's going back to the community?
I don't think a dime is going back to the community.
Thought so.
No, nothing.
I just wanted to hear you say it.
Yes, nothing is going back. $400 for a pair of jeans?
And we look at the African American community where it's a 1.3 trillion buying power, and that 1.3 trillion buying power is always going outside of the community, something we talk about a lot on this particular program.
Yes, it's all going outside the community. So when you look at the community in itself, we wonder why we don't have certain business in the community. We wonder why we don't have black-owned this or black-owned that. A lot of that is because the monies that we would normally spend on ourselves is going outside. So we're not looking at the importance of monetizing or feeding our own business with ourselves. So it's always going outside.
I almost feel like there should be a main brand that's designated to black communities where there's somehow a portion of those proceeds going back to programs where we can begin to educate, have educational after-school programs, whether it be for the churches. They open their homes, their house of worship, so that we can begin to re-educate our communities.
Yes, I think that we should start with some of the high-profile, maybe athletes, maybe high-profile stars, the ones that have the massive amount of resources to push this movement or push this ideology out there. So that's just a calling out, that's all.
A calling out on the ONME Sunday Morning. As usual, we talk about the issues. This time it was embed within the red carpet. We thank you for joining us on this special segment of ONME Sunday Mornings. My name is Julie Dudley Najib. I'm here with co-host Lennice Najib. For now, we'll say next time. We'll see you next week.
He'll take us